What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today we are here with Leo, and Leo at the brand new sneak event for Alliance Insight was able to pilot his evil twin Fiendsmith. So it's going to be really kind of cool to see the new cards for the deck. They are, in my opinion, custom made. They're so good. So with all of that out of the way, Leo, please take us through your list.
So with my list today, I opted to play 3 Kisa Kill, 1 Frost, 1 normal Lila, 1 Lila Treat, and 3 of the new Lila Suite. I picked the Kisa Kill over the Lila normal summon because of the new Link 1. And I'm maxing out on 3 copies of the Suite, so I have more protection versus hand traps, and then the 1 Lila Treat is just regular extenders.
So for those of you that don't know what the brand new suite does, I personally feel this card is absolutely amazing. So when your opponent activates a card or effect in response to your live twin card or effect activation, quick effect, discard this card, negate that opponent's effect. If you control Kisa Kill monster and this card is in the graveyard, you get to special summon it. But while this card is face up in a monster zone, you can't special summon from the extra deck except Fiends, which is pretty much absolutely fine. But the idea behind this particular card is back in the old days when you used to play the live twins, if you were to start with your Leela or your Kisa Kill and your opponent were to Ash, Imperm or Veil you weren't really able to go anywhere. Now, of course, you do get the brand new Link 1, but on top of that, you also have the ability to negate and then extend.
Yeah, that is it for the live twin main deck monsters. And now for everyone's favorite Fiendsmith engine of 3 copies of Engraver, 1 Lacrima, and 1 Lurie. This is pretty normal, especially since the new Link 1 is a Light Fiend, which means you get free access to your Fiendsmith combo at any point, really. So that is sort of the benefit of playing the good cards. And then a smaller engine we have is the Unchained package, which is mainly just 2 Shavara and 1 Aruha, which has come up with the live twin a continuous spell which searches, but because it's a continuous, you can use the Aruha as an extra extender if it ever comes up. And then for the hand traps, we are maining 3 copies of Fuvalos, 3 copies of Ash, 3 copies of Veiler, and 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. This is sort of the normal lineup that I chose today. I didn't feel like Ghost Ogre would come up, and I left Droll in the side deck. And then with the spell cards of the deck, it is obviously the triple of the Live Twin Continuous and the 1 Secret Passcode. I've seen people play 3 Secret Passcode, but I feel like as much as you want to see this, because it can make you push through more boards and also hand traps, I feel like if you're playing too much, you sort of oversee engine when you also want to be seeing non-engine or your other engines at some times. And then next obviously is the 2 tracks for the Fiendsmiths, and then we have the 3 power spells of 1 Talent, 1 Crossout, and 1 Coolbuy, just as forms of the protection against hand traps. And then to end it off, we've got the 1 Paradise and the 1 Abominable Chamber. The Abominable Chamber is very good, especially for the Unchained cards, but the Paradise hasn't really come up recently, but it always will be an option when you need it to be in very grindy game states. And then for the extra deck, we are playing 1 of the new Kisa Kill Deal, which is the Link 1, and it will dump the Live Twin Suite for cost. And then after that, you can draw 1 card every time your opponent responds to a card to your Kisa Kill or your Lila monsters.
Yeah, so the benefit of this one is it does specifically require a Kisa Kill monster, which obviously explains why Leo is on 3 Kisa Kills over everything else. It does send us cost, which is very, very beneficial, and then it applies the effect for the rest of the turn. So even if this card is no longer on the field, it still means that every time your opponent responds to a Kisa Kill or Leela monster effect activation, you draw a card. So if they try to beast steal the target in the graveyard, if they try and stop the draw off of the Kisa Kill, or they try to disrupt the pop of the Leela, you'll be able to still resolve and get a draw. So it kind of is like an in-archetypal maxi in some way.
And then for the rest of the Evil Twins, we played 2 Kisa Kill, 2 Lila, and then 1 copy of the Trouble Sunny. I've not needed the second Trouble Sunny, and I've not needed the main deck Evil Twin yet, but I am thinking of cutting both of the Lila and Kisa Kill extra decks down to 1 copy each, as both the extra copies hasn't actually come up today. And then for the more for the Fiendsmith links, we are just playing the one Requiem, the one Sequence, and the one Desiree. You don't really need Caesar in this deck, as you're not really going for the Princess either. Agumdi is an option that you could consider for one of the Lila or Kill extra monsters, but it hasn't really seen its option today, but that was only through some matchups we had today.
So just before we go further, the one thing that people will question, in my opinion, would be something like the White Wave King Caesar for your Nib Protector. So what is the card you have chosen to play instead of the Wave King?
I've chosen to play Jin Buster. This is somewhat situational in terms of your hand, because you will need to open either obviously your Kill or Lila, but also a continuous to add an extended summon like Tree or Frost. But normally probably Tree, because it is the dark to get this to, but then it also allows you to use the Lila and the monster summon to then make this, which protects you against your Nib, and you still keep your link bodies to still go full combo. And then for the Unchained, we just play one Yama and one Rage. This can't really be changed. You need the Rage and you need the Armor. There is a nice play that you can do involving Fiendsmith Engraver and then Soul of Rage, where you can pop the Rage and then add back Engraver back to your hand and then add Tract and go for Lurie. And then to finish off the links, we just play the one SP, the one Mudcracker, and the one A-Bow. The Mudcracker is only read for grindy games, or if you're worried in game 2 for board breakers. The SP is obviously the target of the Rage, and the A-Bow is a pretty important combo piece, as it can reborn your a Trouble Sunny, so that on your opponent's turn you can have to tag out into the 2-link 2s.
Excellent. What about the side deck that you've looked for post-Alliance Insight format?
So from the new supports, I have realized that Malice has gotten significant buffs, so I've chosen to play triple Lancia, and for Mitsurugi, I've chosen to play double Droll and Lockbird. The reason why I only play 2 is because of the main deck of 3 Fuvalos, in hopes that I will eventually draw into it, and then I can draw at a point that I feel comfortable against some matchups as well. And then for the spells in the side deck, I have chosen to play double Thrust with double Lightning Storm, one Duster, and one Darkwaller. The one Darkwaller is also for like big, like full gas combo decks and Malice as sort of a last effort just to get rid of some interruptions. And then a double Thrust is to compensate for the lower copy, so I can always grab a board breaker or 2. And then for traps, we play the 1D barrier for Thrust for some rogue decks and Ryzeal, and then the last I've chosen to play is 3 of the Solemn Strike.
Excellent. So that's pretty much it for Leo's build for the Live Twin Fiendsmith. This is only the first iteration of it. There'll probably be many changes afterwards. If you don't have the Fiendsmiths, what you'll be doing is you'll probably be increasing your count of the Unchained cards, and you'll be leaning into that a little bit more. It will open up the extra deck to give you access to stuff like Typhon. It'll give you access to cards like the the Anguish and the Abomination. So it'll kind of give you those particular options as well if you wanted to go down that route, and maybe even double up on Yama and Rage should you consider it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Do like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.